Okay, so get ready for this.
Mm-hmm.
You, me, and like pretty much every creature on this planet
Yeah.
with a nervous system, we've all got this one thing in common.
Hmm.
Sleep.
Oh, yeah.
We're diving deep into this YouTube video today
Right.
that breaks down the science behind this whole sleep thing.
Cool.
Why we do it, how much we should be doing it,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe even answer that age-old question.
Mm-hmm.
How many times a day should we really be hitting that snooze button?
Uh-huh.
I know you're curious about this stuff.
I am.
Maybe you're chasing that perfect sleep routine.
Yeah.
Or just fascinated by the fact that we spend a third of our lives basically unconscious.
It is fascinating, right?
Yeah, let's get into it.
All right.
So what's wild is that sleep isn't just some human quirk.
It's not.
Almost every animal with a nervous system, right?
Yeah.
From the tiniest insects to massive whales, they show some form of sleep.
It's true. Yeah.
Wait, so even sharks take a power nap?
Well,
I always thought they had to keep moving to breathe.
some shark species do need to keep water flowing over their gills.
Okay.
But even they
Oh, yeah.
exhibit periods of inactivity that resemble sleep.
Oh, wow.
It really highlights how essential sleep is
Hmm.
for survival across the entire animal kingdom.
Okay, mind officially blown.
Uh-huh.
But the video also mentioned
Yeah.
some pretty extreme differences in how much sleep different animals need.
That's right.
Like bats, they sleep for practically a whole day.
They do.
It's
Like
crazy.
20 hours to be exact.
Oh,
And that actually makes a lot of sense when you
Mhm.
think about their energy expenditure.
right.
Bats have incredibly high metabolisms, especially during flight.
Hmm.
It seems that deep sleep is their way of replenishing those
Oh,
energy stores
I
and
see.
allowing their bodies to recover from that intense activity.
So basically, the more energy you burn,
Yeah,
the more sleep you need.
it seems that way.
That explains why I can barely function after a tough workout.
Uh-huh. Right.
But on the other end of the spectrum,
Yeah.
you got giraffes who only seem to need a couple of hours a night.
Yeah.
How do they get away with that?
That's still somewhat of a mystery,
Hmm.
but it likely has to do with their unique physiology
Okay.
and their need to be constantly vigilant in
Yeah.
their environment.
Makes sense.
It's fascinating how evolution has shaped sleep patterns
Yeah.
to fit the specific needs of different species.
Speaking of needs,
Yeah.
the video uses this really cool analogy
No, I love that.
to explain what sleep actually does for us.
Uh-huh.
A Formula One pit stop.
Yeah, I love that analogy.
Right.
It perfectly captures the idea that sleep isn't just about resting.
Yeah.
It's about actively restoring and preparing the brain for optimal performance.
So instead of just recharging our batteries, it's more like we're pulling into the pit lane
Yeah.
for a full tune-up, changing the tires, refueling,
Right.
making those crucial adjustments to keep the engine running smoothly.
I agree.
Exactly.
Mhm.
During sleep, our brains are busy clearing out
Yeah.
metabolic waste products that accumulate during waking hours.
That's right.
It's also a time for strengthening neural connections,
Yes.
consolidating memories, and even working through complex problems.
Amazing.
So it's like our brains are doing all this behind-the-scenes work
Yeah.
while we're blissfully unaware.
Right?
It's kind of amazing how much is happening while we're sleeping.
It is.
But there's this persistent myth
Oh, yeah.
that smart people,
Mhm.
the high achievers, they need less sleep.
Right.
What's the truth about that?
It's a dangerous myth, and unfortunately a very pervasive one.
Yeah.
The research is crystal clear.
Okay.
Consistently getting less than 7 hours of sleep significantly increases your risk
Ah.
of all sorts of health problems,
Hmm.
including a 122% higher risk of death.
Whoa.
Yeah.
122%.
That's right.
That's definitely not something you want to mess with.
No.
So those all-nighters I pulled in college were probably doing more harm than good.
Let's just say that sleep deprivation isn't exactly a recipe for long-term success.
Right.
Not only does it increase your risk of serious health problems,
Yeah.
but it also significantly impairs cognitive function.
Okay, so what does that cognitive crash
Yeah.
that the video mentioned
Right.
actually look like?
Right.
How does a lack of sleep mess with our brains in the short term?
Think about all the things you need to function at your best.
Okay.
Attention, focus, memory, decision-making, emotional regulation, all of these are negatively impacted when you're sleep deprived.
So I'm not just imagining that I'm slower and grumpier when I
Yeah.
don't get enough sleep.
You're not.
There's actual science behind it.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Sleep deprivation has been shown to disrupt
What's
the
that?
delicate balance of neurochemicals in the brain, leading to decreased alertness,
Right.
impaired memory consolidation, and increased irritability. It's like trying to drive a car with a sputtering engine.
Okay.
You might be able to keep it moving,
Yeah.
but it's not going to be pretty.
That makes perfect sense,
Yeah.
but there's got to be more to it
Right.
than just avoiding a cognitive crash.
Yeah.
What are some of the actual benefits
Yeah.
of consistently getting enough sleep?
Imagine waking up feeling truly refreshed,
Okay.
mentally sharp, and ready to take on the day.
Okay. I'm picturing it.
Yeah.
I like where this is going.
That's the power of a well-rested brain.
Yeah.
Not only will you have more energy and focus,
Mm-hmm.
but you'll also experience improvements in learning, memory, creativity, and emotional regulation.
Wow.
Studies have even shown that getting enough sleep can boost your immune system
Really?
and protect against chronic diseases.
Sign me up.
Haha.
I'm starting to feel more energized just thinking about all those benefits.
Yeah.
But hold on.
Hmm.
I've also heard that you can have too much of a good thing. Is there such a thing as too much sleep?
That's a great question, and the answer is yes.
Okay.
There can be downsides to oversleeping.
So there's a sweet spot when it comes to sleep.
There is.
Like Goldilocks in the porridge.
Exactly.
Like not too little, not too much.
Not too little, not too much. Regularly sleeping more than 9 hours a night has been associated with an increased risk of certain health issues, including cognitive decline and cardiovascular disease.
Wow.
It seems that both too little and too much sleep can disrupt the body's natural rhythms and have negative consequences.
So the how much sleep is enough question isn't as simple as it seems.
No, it's not.
But we know we need it.
We do.
And now we know why.
Right.
What I'm really curious about is what actually happens when we drift off to sleep.
Right.
The video mentions these different stages of sleep, and it sounds pretty wild.
It really is a journey through different levels of consciousness. We move from a state of wakefulness through various stages of light and deep sleep, and then into this fascinating realm of REM sleep, where dreams take center stage.
All right, let's talk about that journey.
Okay.
We start with that drowsy, falling asleep feeling.
Yeah.
And sometimes I get that weird sensation of falling,
Right.
like a sudden jolt.
Yeah?
The video calls it a hypnic jerk.
Yeah, a hypnic jerk.
What's that all about?
That's your ancient ancestors saying hello.
Oh, wow.
It's thought to be a leftover reflex from our tree-dwelling days. Imagine our primate ancestors dozing off in the branches.
Right.
A sudden muscle spasm.
Yeah.
Might have been the difference between staying put and taking a tumble.
Oh, so it's like our bodies haven't quite caught up with the fact
Seems that way.
that we have nice comfy beds now.
Yeah, I guess so.
It's a fascinating example of how evolution works.
It is.
Those ancient reflexes stick around, even if they're not as essential for survival as they once were. That's right. From there, we move into deeper sleep.
Right.
And things get even weirder.
Yeah, they do.
The video mentions sleepwalking.
Uh-huh.
And that apparently happens because our muscles aren't completely paralyzed
That's right.
during those deeper stages.
During deep sleep, our brains are less active,
Okay.
but our bodies aren't fully locked down. This allows for some pretty strange behaviors like sleepwalking, sleep talking, and even sleep eating.
Okay, that's a little creepy.
Uh-huh.
Imagine waking up to find yourself standing in the kitchen,
Yeah.
raiding the fridge in your sleep.
It's one of the stranger aspects of sleep.
It is.
But for most people, it's harmless
Okay.
and something they eventually grow out of.
All right, now for the main event, REM sleep.
Yes.
This is where dreams come in, right?
That's right.
What's going on in our brains during this stage?
REM sleep is this fascinating paradox. It's the deepest stage of sleep, yet our brains are buzzing with activity, almost as if we're awake.
Wow.
And during this stage, our brains are busy processing emotions, consolidating memories, and weaving those bizarre narratives we call dreams.
It's like our brains are throwing a party while our bodies are completely passed out.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
But the video mentions something even wilder, lucid dreaming.
Oh, yeah.
Is it really possible to be aware that you're dreaming
It is.
while you're in a dream?
It sounds incredible, right?
It does.
But for some people, it's a reality.
Wow.
Lucid dreaming happens when a part of your brain becomes aware that you're dreaming, allowing you to consciously influence the dream's direction.
So it's like having a virtual reality experience inside your own mind.
Yeah, you could say that.
That's amazing.
It is pretty cool.
But before we get too lost in dreamland, there's something else the video mentions. Sleep paralysis.
Yeah.
Now, that sounds more like a nightmare than a dream.
Sleep paralysis can definitely be unsettling.
Okay.
It occurs when your brain wakes up from REM sleep, but your body remains paralyzed.
So you're conscious, but you can't move or speak.
That's right.
I can see how that would be terrifying.
It can be, especially when combined with the vivid hallucinations that sometimes accompany it. But it's important to remember that it's a temporary and harmless neurological glitch.
Yeah.
It usually only lasts for a few seconds or minutes.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah.
But all this talk about sleep stages and dream states makes you wonder.
Right.
How many times a day should we be going through this whole cycle?
Good question.
The video dives into this debate between monophasic and polyphasic sleep.
Yes.
And it seems like humans have a pretty unique sleep history.
It's fascinating to think about how our sleep patterns have evolved over time.
Yeah.
Most mammals, including our early ancestors, were polyphasic sleepers.
Okay.
Meaning they took multiple naps throughout the day.
So those afternoon siestas in some cultures are actually a throwback to our evolutionary past.
Exactly.
Wow.
It's like a remnant of our ancient sleep-wake rhythms.
That's so cool.
However, as humans evolved,
okay,
we gradually shifted towards a monophasic sleep pattern where we consolidate our sleep into a single longer block at night.
And the video mentions this really intriguing idea called segmented sleep. Sleeping in 2 shifts with a period of wakefulness.
That's right.
In the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Is there any evidence to support that?
There's actually quite a bit of historical evidence suggesting that segmented sleep was the norm for humans for centuries.
Really?
Before the advent of artificial lighting.
Okay.
It was common for people to wake up in the middle of the night, engage in activities, and then return to sleep.
That's wild.
It is.
It's like having a whole extra chunk of time in the middle of the night.
I know, right?
But why did we abandon this segmented sleep pattern?
With the rise of industrialization and the widespread availability of artificial light, our lives became more structured around a 24-hour cycle. We started working longer hours, relying on artificial light to extend our days, and gradually shifted towards a single consolidated block of sleep at night.
So we traded our 2 sleep shifts for a more efficient monophasic approach.
That's right.
But today, there's all this buzz about polyphasic sleep.
Oh, yeah.
With people claiming it's a productivity hack that lets you function on just a few hours of sleep a day.
Right.
What's the truth about that?
That's a topic we definitely need to unpack.
Okay.
The idea of hacking your sleep to gain more waking hours is certainly appealing.
Right.
But is it sustainable? Is it healthy? That's where things get interesting, and we'll dive into that right after. Yeah. So before we got sidetracked, we were about to unravel the whole polyphasic sleep phenomenon.
It's definitely, gain traction.
Gain traction, yeah. Especially in those productivity-obsessed corners of the internet.
Yeah, it's like the ultimate life hack, right? Squeeze more hours out of the day by sleeping less.
Right.
But the video seems pretty skeptical.
Yeah, it is.
About whether this is actually a good idea. So is polyphasic sleep a genius shortcut?
Well...
Or are we setting ourselves up for a major system crash?
The truth is, our bodies have evolved over millennia to thrive on a monophasic sleep pattern, that consolidated block of sleep we get at night, while you might be able to function on reduced sleep for a short period. Chronically messing with your natural sleep-wake cycle can have serious consequences for both your physical and mental well-being.
So those all-nighters I pulled in college, probably not the best strategy for long-term success.
Let's just say those late-night study sessions were likely doing more harm than good. Your brain needs that consolidated sleep time to process information, consolidate memories, and recharge for the day ahead.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But what about all those super productive CEOs who brag about functioning on just a few hours of sleep?
Yeah, I know.
Are they superhuman? Or are they just fooling themselves?
It's easy to get caught up in the glorification of sleep deprivation, but the reality is those individuals are likely operating at a fraction of their potential. And in the long run, they're putting their health at risk. Chronic sleep deprivation has been linked to a whole host of serious health problems. Including cardiovascular disease, diabetes, and even certain types of cancer.
Wow. That's a pretty compelling argument.
It is.
For prioritizing sleep.
Yeah.
It sounds like we've evolved to need that solid block of nighttime sleep, and messing with that natural rhythm can have some serious consequences.
Precisely. Our bodies crave consistency. And constantly shifting your sleep schedule disrupts your natural circadian rhythm, which can lead to all sorts of problems, from difficulty concentrating to weakened immunity.
So even if I try to catch up on sleep on the weekends, I can't really undo the damage of those sleep-deprived weeknights.
Unfortunately, it's not that simple. While sleeping in on weekends can help you feel more rested in the short term, it can't fully compensate for chronic sleep deprivation.
I see.
Your body thrives on routine, and that includes a consistent sleep schedule.
So what's the takeaway here?
Well,
if we can't hack our sleep with polyphasic schedules, or weekend catch-up sessions, what's the best way to make sure we're getting the sleep we need?
It really comes down to prioritizing sleep. And making it a non-negotiable part of your daily routine. Aim for that sweet spot of 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep each night.
7 to 9.
And remember, consistency is key.
Got it.
Try to go to bed and wake up around the same time each day, even on weekends.
Consistency is key. Got it.
Yeah.
But there are those nights when sleep just feels totally elusive.
I know.
Like your mind is racing, you're tossing and turning, and sleep just won't come. Any tips for dealing with those nights?
Wow.
When you just can't seem to switch off?
We've all been there.
Yeah.
And the more you stress about not being able to sleep, the harder it becomes to drift off.
It's true.
So first, try not to panic if you're struggling to fall asleep. Get out of bed and do something relaxing until you feel tired. Read a book. Listen to calming music or practice some deep breathing exercises.
So no more staring at the ceiling, willing myself to fall asleep.
Exactly. Sometimes the best thing you can do is just get out of that sleep-focused environment and give your mind a break. And speaking of breaks, what you do in the hours leading up to bedtime can have a huge impact on your sleep quality.
So we're talking about creating a sleep-friendly routine.
Absolutely. Think of it as winding down for the night, a warm bath, a cup of herbal tea. Reading a book. These are all great ways to signal to your body that it's time to relax and prepare for sleep.
What about screen time?
Yeah.
I've heard that the blue light from our phones and laptops can interfere with sleep.
It can.
Is there any truth to that?
It's definitely something to be mindful of. That blue light can suppress melatonin production, which is the hormone that helps regulate our sleep-wake cycle. Try to avoid screens for at least an hour before bed. Or consider using blue light blocking glasses if you absolutely need to be on your devices.
So no more scrolling through social media in bed.
Probably a good idea.
I'm definitely guilty of that one.
Yeah.
What about food and drinks? Are there any sleep saboteurs we should be aware of?
Caffeine and alcohol are two big ones. While that after-dinner coffee or nightcap might seem relaxing, they can actually disrupt your sleep patterns and prevent you from getting that deep, restful sleep you need.
So maybe stick to herbal tea or warm milk before bed.
Exactly. And while a light snack before bed can sometimes be helpful, avoid heavy meals that can interfere with digestion and make it harder to fall asleep.
All of this makes so much sense.
Yeah.
It's not just about how much sleep we get, but also about the quality of that sleep and what we do to set ourselves up for a good night's rest.
Exactly.
But I'm curious about those times when, despite our best efforts, sleep still eludes us. What about people who struggle with insomnia or other sleep disorders? Is it just bad luck?
Well,
or are there things we can do to address those?
It's rarely those underlying issues. It's rarely just bad luck. There are a whole range of factors that can contribute to insomnia. From stress and anxiety to poor sleep habits, medical conditions, and even certain medications.
So it's not just about having a racing mind before bed.
No.
There could be deeper issues at play.
Absolutely. Sometimes it's a combination of factors. If you're struggling with persistent insomnia, it's always a good idea to talk to your doctor to rule out any underlying medical conditions or medication side effects.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
You want to make sure you're addressing the root cause.
Exactly.
Rather than just treating the symptoms.
Right.
But what about those of us who experience insomnia occasionally? Are there any tips for navigating those sleepless nights?
One of the most effective strategies is something we touched on earlier. Establishing a consistent sleep schedule. Try to go to bed and wake up around the same time each day, even on weekends, to help regulate your body's natural sleep-wake cycle.
So even if I'm tempted to sleep in on Saturday morning, it's better to stick to my regular wake-up time.
Your body thrives on routine, and that includes a consistent sleep schedule. It might feel tough at first, but over time, your body will adjust, and you'll find it easier to fall asleep and wake up naturally. And remember that relaxing bedtime routine we talked about? That's crucial for setting the stage for a good night's sleep.
Warm bath, calming music, a good book. Anything that helps you unwind and signal to your body that it's time to switch off.
Exactly. And remember to avoid those sleep saboteurs. Caffeine, alcohol, and late night screen time. Those can really wreak havoc on your sleep patterns.
So we've covered insomnia. But the video also mentions some other sleep disorders that sound pretty intense.
Yeah, they do.
Like sleepwalking and sleep paralysis. Are those as common as insomnia?
They're not as prevalent as insomnia, but they can be just as disruptive to sleep and overall well-being. Sleepwalking, as we discussed earlier, is when someone gets up and moves around while they're asleep, often engaging in fairly complex behaviors without any conscious awareness.
It's like something out of a movie.
I know.
And it can be dangerous,
It can.
Imagine someone sleepwalking out of their house. Or into a dangerous situation.
That's why it's important to take precautions.
Right.
If you or someone you live with sleepwalks, make sure the environment is safe, secure windows and doors, and remove any potential hazards.
Shane, what about sleep paralysis? That one sounds terrifying.
It can be.
It's like being trapped in your own body.
It can feel that way.
Yeah.
Sleep paralysis occurs when you're aware of your surroundings, but unable to move or speak.
Right.
It typically happens as you're falling asleep or waking up.
Right.
And it's often accompanied by
yeah,
vivid hallucinations.
Okay.
Which can make the experience even more frightening.
I can see how that would be incredibly unsettling.
It can be.
Is there anything you could do to snap out of it?
The most important thing is to remember that it's temporary and harmless.
Right.
It usually only lasts for a few seconds or minutes. Focusing on trying to move, even a small part of your body, like a finger or toe, can sometimes help break the paralysis.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah.
But it sounds like if you're experiencing frequent sleepwalking episodes or sleep paralysis, it's worth talking to a doctor.
It is.
To rule out any underlying medical conditions.
Yeah.
Or get advice on managing those symptoms.
Absolutely.
Right.
Sleep disorders can have a huge impact on your overall health and quality of life.
Yeah.
So it's important to seek professional help if you're struggling.
This deep dive has definitely opened my eyes.
Yeah.
To the vast and often mysterious world of sleep.
It is mysterious.
We've learned about the crucial role it plays in our physical and mental health. Explored the strange and fascinating stages of sleep. And even ventured into the bizarre realms of dreams and sleep disorders.
It's truly amazing how much is happening.
It is.
In our brains and bodies while we sleep.
Yeah.
It's not just about resting. It's about restoring, repairing, and preparing ourselves for the day ahead.
So as we wrap up this episode,
what
are the key takeaways you want our listeners to remember?
First and foremost, prioritize sleep. It's not a luxury. It's an essential investment in your health and well-being. Establish a consistent sleep schedule.
Right.
Create a relaxing bedtime routine. And make sure your bedroom is a sleep-friendly environment.
Right. No more late-night screen time or caffeine overload before bed.
Right.
And if you're struggling with insomnia or other sleep disorders, don't hesitate to seek professional help.
Right.
There are effective treatments available.
There are.
That can dramatically improve your sleep and overall quality of life.
I think that about covers it.
Yeah.
We've explored the science, debunked some myths.
Right.
And hopefully empowered you with the knowledge you need to make sleep a priority in your life.
This has been a truly fascinating journey.
It has.
But before we sign off,
I
want to leave our listeners with a thought-provoking question.
Okay, let's hear it.
If you could design your ideal sleep schedule based on what we've learned, what would it look like?
That's a great question.
Right.
I encourage everyone to reflect on their own sleep habits.
Okay.
Consider the science we've discussed and experiment with different strategies to find what works best for you.
Remember, prioritizing sleep is one of the best gifts you can give yourself.
It is.
So sleep well, dream big.
With sweet dreams.
And take care of your amazing brains.
Yeah.
Until next time.
Bye.
So we've covered insomnia.
Yeah.
But the video also mentions some other sleep disorders that sound pretty intense, like sleepwalking.
Yeah, they do.
And sleep paralysis.
Right.
Are those as common as insomnia?
They're not as prevalent as insomnia.
Okay.
But they can be just as disruptive to sleep and overall well-being. Sleepwalking, as we discussed earlier, is when someone gets up and moves around while they're asleep.
Right.
Often engaging in fairly complex behaviors without any conscious awareness.
It's like something out of a movie. And it can be dangerous, right?
It can.
Imagine someone sleepwalking out of their house.
Yeah.
Or into a dangerous situation.
That's why it's important to take precautions.
Right.
If you or someone you live with sleepwalks, make sure the environment is safe, secure windows and doors, and remove any potential hazards.
And what about sleep paralysis?
Right.
That one sounds terrifying.
It can be.
It's like being trapped in your own body.
Right. It can feel that way.
Yeah?
Sleep paralysis occurs when you're aware of your surroundings but unable to move or speak. It typically happens as you're falling asleep or waking up.
Right.
And it's often accompanied by vivid hallucinations, which can make the experience even more frightening.
I can see how that would be incredibly unsettling.
It can be.
Is there anything you can do to snap out of it?
The most important thing is to remember that it's temporary and harmless.
Okay.
It usually only lasts for a few seconds or minutes. Focusing on trying to move even a small part of your body, like a finger or toe,
can sometimes help break the paralysis.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah.
But it sounds like if you're experiencing frequent sleepwalking episodes or sleep paralysis, it's worth talking to a doctor to rule out any underlying medical conditions or get advice on managing those symptoms.
Absolutely. Sleep disorders can have a huge impact on your overall health and quality of life. So it's important to seek professional help if you're struggling.
This deep dive has definitely opened my eyes to the vast and often mysterious world of sleep.
He is mysterious.
We've learned about the crucial role it plays in our physical and mental health.
Right.
Explored the strange and fascinating stages of sleep and even ventured into the bizarre realms of dreams and sleep disorders.
It's truly amazing how much is happening in our brains and bodies while we sleep. It's not just about resting.
Right.
It's about restoring, repairing, and preparing ourselves for the day ahead.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, what are the key takeaways you want our listeners to remember? First and foremost, prioritize sleep. It's not a luxury. It's an essential investment in your health and well-being. Establish a consistent sleep schedule. Create a relaxing bedtime routine. And make sure your bedroom is a sleep-friendly environment.
Right. No more late-night screen time or caffeine overload before bed.
Yeah.
And if you're struggling with insomnia or other sleep disorders, don't hesitate to seek professional help.
Right.
There are effective treatments available that can dramatically improve your sleep and overall quality of life.
I think that about covers it.
Yeah.
We've explored the science, debunked some myths, and hopefully empowered you with the knowledge you need to make sleep a priority in your life.
This has been a truly fascinating journey.
It has been.
But before we sign off, I want to leave our listeners with a thought-provoking question.
Okay, let's hear it.
If you could design your ideal sleep schedule based on what we've learned, what would it look like?
That's a great question. I encourage everyone to reflect on their own sleep habits. Consider the science we've discussed and experiment with different strategies to find what works best for you.
Remember, prioritizing sleep is one of the best gifts you can give yourself.
It is.
So sleep well, dream big, and take care of your amazing brains. Until next time, sweet dreams.
Bye.